But let's have a look where we're headed inside the server. That is the map Vetoes. Let's bring them up and decide where thy battleground will take us. Clubhouse Villa gone. Border... I said coastline then, that is definitely Consulate, and then Coastline Cafe, leaving Bank in the mix. Now if you have a quick look in both of these teams' history in the past, well just these Pro League season, neither team have played Bank. I don't know, man, am I reading too much into that? Is it something that's just going to throw a bit of a spanner in the works?
I mean, at the very least, that gets me excited.
Yeah.
Because it makes you think, well, but neither of these teams have a lot of information to go off of their opponent, which means it's going to be a lot of adapting on the fly rather than coming in saying, look, we know how these guys do their attacks. We know what these guys like to set up for their defenses. It's going to be a lot more of adapting on the fly in terms of a Bank looking further back for Onyxian here. I've got 6 plays and a 50% win rate on that map. So, you know, bit of left, bit of right on their camp. And for Fury, similar kind of aspect, not a ton of plays from what I've seen. And I guess some decent performances, but last season, actually, it was Bank that Onyxian beat Fury on and the final play day. Mind you, that was way back in September, so it has been a red hot minute since then, but neither of these teams have their full rosters from that. Don't know how much we can read into that. And I think this is really going to be a question of what happens when we actually turn up in the server and these teams have to start adapting to each other's playstyle.
Quick question.
Yep.
Onyxian and Fury, who you got? First map.
Onyxian's got to be Onyxian.
Onyxian, well, let's have a look what the community think. We've got our expert here saying Onyxian. Wow, I want to go ahead and say that's the closest draw I've seen.
Yeah, I think so. In fact, the draw figure is particularly high in that. It's not just even between the two sides, but the draw figure is really, really high. And I know a lot of viewers don't really like to vote for the draw because it's a little bit sitting on the fence. People want to take a stab in the dark.
Yes, I do.
And Onyxian are, I think it's safe to say, the clear favorites in this match. That doesn't mean that Fury can't make an upset. But if Fury win, that is an upset, and that is significant. If Onyxian win, it's well done, Onyxian. You're keeping your story going. If Fury win, that's a huge deal.
That is for sure. Map number 1, we're going to head to Bank. Onyxian and Fury both headed toward the top of the ANZ Pro League ladder. Quite a big deal for both of these teams. I'm going to start with the ban phase, but I must admit, just like Fury in this. But you know what?
Yeah,
I have
like
a theory, Dev. I have a theory as to why the community poll is so close. Because people think that it's the Fnatic logo.
I do love that new Fnatic logo. I will give you that. The new Fury logo, new Fnatic logo, there are similarities. I like them both. Another reason could be that Onyxian recently changed their name. They went Orgless. Used to be called Oddity Esports. A lot of people might have gotten behind that banner, but with this old name of Onyxian, maybe less. So let's have a look at these bans. Now, that's some significant hard breach and hard breach denial counter bans. My goodness, that's a mouthful. So Hibana is great for opening hatches on this map and also for opening holes upstairs, particularly at the if you're defending CEOs or an area of the map typically called Kanto. You can open up with Hibana, but not other hard breaches. Thatch is also great for clearing out information denial like Mutant Mozzie, but also hatch denial like a Kaid. And we don't have a Kaid ban, so I expect we'll see a lot of Kaid played. Probably a lot of information denial operators played, like the Mutant and the Mozzie as well.
It was interesting. The last play day I got a chance to cast with Raven, we saw Kaid left on Bank, and out of all the rounds that were played, only once was he picked and utilized on that bottom floor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was very intriguing. I mean, like, straight off the bat, you've got Kaid coming through.
Yeah, the thing with Kaid on this map with Thatcher and Hibana banned is that you can still use that Maverick, as we can see from Cynics. And it can be quite difficult to do. It uses a lot of fuel, but you can open those hatches using the Maverick's blowtorch. Yes. And Kaid doesn't prevent that from happening.
Oh, I love this. Is this a bit of bait and switch?
It might be. So Warden spotted at the Maverick. Maybe, yeah, okay, he's going to get rid of that Kaid and switch over to the Vigil. So a little bit more information denial paired with the Mozzie. It should help a little bit. I like the idea here.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
y'all going downstairs, but yeah, unfortunately, it looks like we...
Rip Red. Rip Red.
We get some F's in the chat for poor Red.
That's all right.
This is something that I noticed the first time I casted Onyxian. Since they left the Oddity Esports roster, they all changed their names. They got rid of the Oddity tags. And they did the worst thing they could possibly do to casters, and they put some prefixes before their names. You're meant to put the team prefixes after their names, but now it's like Gozo Red or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now when we're watching the game and you're trying to read the little letters at the top to see who it is, it doesn't say red, it says go.
Heartbreaking.
It's I honestly I don't friendship ended with Onyxian. Fury is my new best friend.
I mean, look, I'm not going to say anything there, but we could see the full name. We need to see the full name sometimes. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm putting it out there. Full name would be helpful to casters.
Just work with us, Onyxian. So
I mean, that's all right. Like we're just going to get absolutely shafted there, but that's fine.
Yeah, it happens.
Fine.
So we haven't really got a lot to go off so far. It was Hibana, Thatcher banned on the attacking side, Mira and Maestro banned on the defensive side. And it looked like it was going to be the bottom four picked first up, which is fairly standard. Mozzie and Vigil. Now, typically when we have rehosts like this, teams have to pick the same operators.
Yep.
So we can expect the same kind of strategy from them. So maybe we can start to speculate a little bit into how it's going to look like.
Yep.
With a Vigil and a Mozzie, it's a heavy information denial strategy. So I'm expecting a lot of maybe potential attempting flanks up the main stairs.
Yep.
And probably a lot of potentially even roaming. Like we could see some hard roaming from Fury as well. Maybe Mozzie pests around open area or the top floor to prevent people droning that. And with, I think it was Warden playing the Vigil as well, that'll really deny some drones and potentially slow down Onyxian. It's going to come down to how well they can roam clear and how time efficient they can be on that.
I just, you know, from a standpoint, just to begin with, I enjoy the Kaid, just the showing of the face, merely because, I mean, most times when you see the Kaid peaked in that first initial phase, you can probably assume it's going to be down in the basement. So I do like the fact that they've gone straight into Tellers there, and they have obviously shown face with Kaid, and then
sorry, was it Tellers bomb site?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. So they've obviously faked just given a little little shimmy.
Yeah. So the Kaid makes it look like it's bottom, but they're playing Tellers. Sorry, I missed that. No, that is even more reason to pick the Mozzie and the Vigil then, because Tellers is a very roam heavy bomb site.
Yep.
Typically, you'll open up some of the walls of Tellers so that you play for a retake kind of strategy. You play around the hallways of the map, like those main stairs, instead of actually in the bomb site itself, because the bomb site itself is really exposed. As soon as the attackers get top floor, they're going to open up that floor, rain hell down from above. So I think this Mozzie and Vigil combination, that double information denial, could certainly help with the roam game that Fury is going to try and accomplish.
Look, straight off the bat, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a good start. And I'm
We're happy.
Lie,
Pack up,
I'm also really happy that the rehost happened without anything really happening.
Yes.
So it's going to be a lot less time than what it would have been originally.
Yes.
Because that would have been...
Otherwise, we'd have to watch half the round and then... But no. Red at least, you know, he got it out of the way nice and quick, didn't he?
He gave us some time. He gave us some time to work with. Just take a bit of a breather and regroup ourselves.
I know something that we can chat about. This is something we haven't chatted much about yet, but we've got the new patch just released, deployed last night, our time.
Don't do this to me.
I know. Okay, look, I'm going to get...
People at home don't know. I don't have internet at the moment.
He doesn't. He can't even play the game right now. It's actually tragic.
It's really sad.
Okay.
You're like, the second I heard patch, I was like, and it's all downhill from me from here. This is the worst possible thing you could have done. Come on, hit us with the hot fire.
All right. Wait. Okay, I got to get the patch notes up. Latest news. Oh, by the way, one of the things that's come out in this patch is the Vulkan API deployment. Yep. So it's really nerdy, so I won't bore you with the details. But basically, there's a new way that you can... there's a new API available that you can use to render the game, which may get you better performance. So that's awesome. Read the patch notes for more on Vulkan. There's also a great video from Ubisoft Montreal that kind of explains what Vulkan is, what it does, and how it can help. I was talking to some other people, said that they've gotten, like, in some cases, even 100% increase in frames, which is huge.
Well, who were we talking to before? Just before it all started? I think it was it?
Jack Dad.
Jack Daddy, yeah. And his frames have incredibly increased, and I was kind of sitting there like, what is going on here? What have I missed? What have I missed in the short time?
So it's a lot of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, higgly biggly tech stuff that I don't understand.
Timey wimey.
Yeah.
Higgly biggly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, long and short of it is potentially better frames. Awesome.
Baller.
But there have been some balancing changes too, and one of them pertains to the Echo, which is one of the operators which was not banned. Echo sees so much banning in competitive play and in ranked as well.
Yep.
And he's an operator left in here. We've got the Maestro and the Mirror out instead. So we're probably going to see the effects of that nerf potentially even come into play here. And the main nerf that we've seen with the Echo is that The Dokkaebi calls typically would affect every player with a phone, and Echo is classified not to have a phone because he did everything off of his wrist device.
Yep.
And so he wouldn't get called from Dokkaebi, he wouldn't get forced off his yokai drone, and he also his drones couldn't be hacked by Dokkaebi. So if Dokkaebi hacked all the cameras, she wouldn't be able to see through those Echo drones. And now she can. Now when Dokkaebi calls that, it's going to kick Echo off of his drone, so he can't deny the plant until he hangs up his phone. And it also means that if Dokkaebi kills, or if a roamer gets killed, or someone in Dokkaebi hacks those cams, she's going to be able to use those Echo, well, not use the Echo drones, but she's going to see through them. So that can help you locate those Echo drones. So another counter available for Echo, who's an operator that can be very difficult to counter.
Yes.
IQ and Thatcher are not always enough. So we may see some Dokkaebi played. If the Echo starts to become a hassle for these teams, we might see Dokkaebi brought into the mix as well. She can be used to clear aggressive roams as well with her roam clearing information gathering utility. So a lot of potential there with some of these changes, and this is really our first opportunity to see it in competitive play.
Do you, I mean, this is, you are the God tier analyst for all of us.
I'm only plat 1, by the way. Don't give me too much credit.
Do you think that this could see a decrease in banning of Echo?
Yeah, maybe. We were already seeing a decrease in banning of Echo in general because I think people had started to realize how powerful Maestro in particular was.
Yep.
And banning not only Maestro, but also some other really specific operators that are coming into the meta. A lot of information denial, like the Mozzie we've seen banned a couple times, not saying it's prevalent yet.
Yep.
But yes, I absolutely think Echo bans are on the decline, and we may see that continue to trend with this nerf. I don't really want to harp on too much about some of the other changes that have come through because I don't think they're going to be as... Oh, no, there is one, a big one. Maestro's lost his ACOG on the older. So,
oh,
I know.
No.
Yeah, you missed the patch notes, but man...
I was sweating it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Maestro's banned in this map, so we're not really going to get to see that this time, but that is a huge deal. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, Maestro's gun's really good without the ACOG, so it's not going to affect him. Yes, Maestro's gun is really good without the ACOG, but it's still going to affect him because the ACOG isn't just about raw power, it's about playstyle.
Yep.
Because you can still sprint in and kill 3 people in close proximity and pre-fire an angle for 10 seconds with the older because it's still got tons of bullets. What you can't do is sit in garage with a one-time sight, look through 2 angles through the floor and hold a pixel angle against someone with an ACOG L85 or 556 on the other end. You're just going to lose that fight 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So it will change some angles and some ways that Maestros play, and it probably will force them to play more passively until potentially close quarters engagements are viable for him. So unfortunately he's banned this map, but I know a lot of these pro players have been practicing with hollow sight Maestro or like a one-time sight Maestro for a couple weeks since the deployment was announced on the test servers. So I think they'll be ready for it, but it may shake up some strategies if we see him unbanned on one of the other maps tonight.
If.
Big if.
Maybe. Look, to be honest, at this point in time, from my point of view, like, I don't know, there are... Rainbow Six is one of those games that has the ultimate pleasure of having updates quite often, and I think that this is one thing that, like, separates it from most others is the fact that it's constantly evolving, right? So a meta doesn't stay in the system for longer than maybe a couple of months.
And that's the funny thing. In the past, we've talked so much about metas that revolve around really specific operators, like when we had the Glaz meta or the Ying meta or the Lion meta. But now, because we have operator bans and because a lot of those really powerful operators, utility-heavy operators, have been nerfed, we've seen, in some ways, the meta move in a really different direction to be less centric about specific operators and more about having flexible compositions. And then really recently, we've seen the defense information denial meta really come through. Everyone overseas loves saying the mute Mozzie combo, all about playing multiple information denial operators and really hammering that home, preventing the attackers from getting an easy job of taking ground. And it has become super prevalent. We've even seen Vigil and Mozzie in this first round come out. So information denial is starting to come into that meta. And it's like you're saying, the game changes so much, even when there are no actual game changes that come and get deployed. And then when we have a patch like this, and it's not huge by any means, but we've seen some significant changes with Maestro losing the ACOG, etc. That does just escalate that effect of making the game change the way you have to play. it's one of the skills of playing Rainbow Six isn't just being good at what you have to do right now, but being adaptable, not just in one round or in one map to adapt to your enemy's playstyle, but adapting to the game as it changes, because it changes so frequently.
Well, that's the thing, over months, right? Like, it is about, like, who can adapt the quickest. I think there was a tweet I saw literally, I want to say like less than 24 hours ago. I can't remember who it was from, but saying that, you know, like Rainbow Six really is a game exactly like that. You can't base your merit on your aim or how well you know the operators or the maps. It is everything that kind of joins together. It's being on top of the patches before they kind of get released. It's being able to adapt quicker to them once they're released, seeing how things change and what, like how you now play Maestro, which, look, that might not change significantly, but it is still going to change. And for some players, it could throw them off a lot more than others. And I think that, you know, just like circling back to that point of I want to say the complete Rainbow Six player, right? There are very good Rainbow Six players, but the complete player is able to soak in everything from maps to operators to play styles to tactics. You know, like there is just so much that comes with this. And I think, you know, when we get chances like this to actually digest how much knowledge and how much information comes with this game, it's pretty overwhelming, I must admit.
Certainly. Now, sorry, Rob, do we actually have a game?
What?
We have a game?
Wait, this isn't the podcast?
Welcome to the Mannequin Dev podcast, guys. Hope you have enjoyed your... Can we get some theme music? No, okay. Alright, I like that. I'll take that. You can play the lead guitar. So, we're going to see the band phase again. It's very likely that this will be exactly the same. In fact, it is incredibly likely that the admins will have enforced that they must select the same operators for their bands. So Onyxian's going to get rid of the Hibana and the Mirror. We've already talked about this a little bit. It's likely that the bomb site is going to be locked, and so will the operators. Now, unfortunately for Fury, who were defending, we talked about how that Cade pick was potentially used to pretend it was a CCTV bomb site defense, but it was actually a tellers. Well, Onyxian, now they can actually just watch the Twitch stream because it's been more than 3 minutes since that.
James, that's so toxic. So that is so toxic.
They can just watch the stream back and see that Fury were actually going to select tellers. So I think that Fury did lose the element of surprise there.
Yes.
Unfortunately for them. And Onyxian will likely have had enough time to talk about how we want to do this tellers take. Yeah. And we'll see. Is Warden going to change over to that? Yeah, so everything's exactly the same.
Okay,
Isn't it?
Did they bring a thermite? I don't think they did. I thought Red went back onto the Capital. Yeah. Was I not looking at that correctly?
I can't remember. Don't quiz me on that one. I was too busy talking about patch notes.
Devin, his many notes. Man, you do not want to see inside this guy's Google Sheets. It is ridiculous.
I actually pay for the premium version of Google Sheets where you get like more gigabytes, and I'm almost run out.
Well, that kind of sums it up pretty nicely then, doesn't it? That is...
Well, the Road to 6 Invitational has started. We were talking about this before. We were talking about this before stream went live.
Yep.
I can't believe SI is only just over a week away. That is bananas.
It comes around so quick, man. That is just like...
It is ridiculous.
We were like, oh yeah, what? Like you've got 2 weeks until you're going to be on the plane, and we're like, oh wait, wait a second. It's literally coming to the end of January already.
Yeah, and what's great is people can get involved in the 6 Invitational, even if you can't make it to Montreal for the event. The 6 Invitational is a celebration for everyone that plays Rainbow Six, and playing the Road to 6 Invitational event, which is available from Thursdays to Mondays. You can not only unlock some free stuff, but you can purchase the Battle Pass as well, and 30% of the revenue from that will go to the 6 Invitational prize pool.
That is nuts.
Awesome.
Out of everything, that is... Oh, hello, goodbye!
Come on, dude.
I looked away for half a second, and all of a sudden, Warden's crosshair... Filthy. Nicely done. Warden will back away as well.
So Onyxian, I think they're going to realize how aggressive Fury are playing and just have to be a little bit more vigilant, drone out absolutely everything. Now, of course, it's difficult to drone out absolutely everything when the enemy's playing a Mozzie and a Vigil, but that's the point! And Fury know that. So now we do see Onyxian take a step back, start droning, they got to wake up. This game took a little bit to get started, and now so have Onyxian.
Obviously, one thing that's somewhat a nice sign is, oh, wait, no, that is no longer a nice sign. I was going to say the man advantage, but that has quickly turned on its head.
Well, that's the thing with aggression. As soon as the attackers start reading into that defender aggression, they can play in positions where they're going to suppress that. And God Legion playing such a favorable engagement, watching that flank up the main stairs. Will punish Warden nice and quick, so excellent job for Onyxian. And now they got that top floor control, start opening up the floor. Got pressure from various other horizontal angles as well. Droned out the Mozzie, droned out lots of players. Surely Shade's going to get spotted.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Couple of shots through the wall.
Yeah, they must have seen him on a drone and didn't want to ping him to reveal the drone's position, so they just sprayed it.
There you go.
Get him to head downstairs.
Smack bang on the money. Actually, Onyxian have made pretty good time right now, Dev. There's a minute left on the clock and they're already starting to approach the bomb site. There's another contact being made.
Yeah.
Rock will fall. This has gone pretty horribly for Fury, all things considered.
They have to rely on some strong gunfights on the bomb site, but as Onyxian get this information, it's going to be favored against them. That's Sushi going down to Vast above. Verticality so important on this site. Now Golden in a position to retake. Shade in the hallway, but he's taken out. Diffuser successfully planted. A 1 versus 4. Full order for Golden here.
He's got a lot of progression to make, and he's not going to make it past the first hurdle or the hole in the wall. Onyxian will take the first round of our match, which feels like it's been forever since it started. But
Yeah.
very nice recovery from Onyxian, all things considered.
Very, very nice, because they did lose that first player, right? Warden was playing hyper-aggressive in stock. Some people might say, what a silly position Warden was playing. Well, it worked, because Onyxian weren't playing counter-aggression well enough. But you know what happened? As soon as they lost one player to counter-aggression, they just switched everything into counter-aggression. God Legion was watching the flank. We even, like, how many people died on flanks in that round? We had Warden die right at the end. Shade died trying to execute a flank.
Yep.
And Onyxian started to read into the way that Fury were playing and countered it perfectly. Excellent job.
Mozzie for a Mozzie and an IQ for a Sledge.
Okay. So,
Attackers need to
heading
locate
to the
and
CEO
defuse
bomb
as
site.
many bombs
Fury
as
aren't
they
going to
can.
retry the same thing twice, and they're not going to go downstairs either, which is, to many teams, the most favored bomb site.
Yeah.
Going to the top floor, and Onyxian not bringing that IQ is an interesting decision because we've got a lot of utility from Fury that can be utilized. In particular, the Valkyrie and the Mozzie, which are both very powerful, unless you have that IQ to counter it. Another operator I'd like to talk about, just briefly, is Golden here playing the Ela. Now, I didn't mention this on the patch notes, but you know, Ela used to be quite a beast when she was released way back in Blood
10 seconds
Orchid
remaining.
in Year 2, and she was nerfed significantly since then, and you know, people call her Nerferella. She's had some significant buffs in this patch, mainly just to her recoil, so she may not be that uber fragger she used to be, but we'll see if Golden can tap some heads with that much more like a laser beam Scorpion.
A bomb has been located.
See how much of a full effect it'll take now. Onyxian are going to slowly approach the building, and I would dare say with much more caution than what they did in the previous round. Oh, well, okay, nicely timed. And they get a little bit of extra information on what is yet another roam on Warden's behalf.
Information, we did see that Valcam on the roof. Wonder how long that's going to stay alive. Shade's going to get an idea of where Red's playing. Oh, is he going to go for a C4? Is that the strategy here? Or is he just going to hold this angle? Oh no, Shade loses that camera. Cautious of the angle now. He's going to pre-fire the flank watch downstairs, but the player isn't quite there. Red's going to drone this from a very safe position. You can see Onyxian still enacting that counter-aggression playstyle.
Very cautious of the drone economy as well.
The attacker's bomb diffuser
Especially
has
with
been
how
dropped.
Fury have started off playing this first map. Very happy to be roaming and letting those players go individually one by one. Burning out the ADS. Cynics now to make the way up main stairs. However, just holds off for a moment. I think Onyxian are pretty comfortably set right now. Minute 30, they've got a fair bit of information on the back of these drones, so they now know that the hallway is somewhat clear. They'll progress accordingly.
Aggressive push-up Banana. Last will pull the goo mine out of his foot, and no pressure from the hallway seems to be cleared out. Vast making his way forward. these Fury players will begin to be exposed, but they're playing the patient game. They're just going to
Attackers have
hold their
located a bomb.
positions,
Attackers
see if
drop
they
the
can take out Onyxian, force Onyxian to make the first move, and Sushi finds the opening kill. The God Legion for a good kill onto Rock as well, and blood is just painted on the walls here as Onyxian start to execute. Warden on a flank, he gets the injure, and oh, the Legion Mine finishes him off. It's now a 2 versus 1, Golden with this newly buffed Ella Scorpion to hold.
Shade being picked up as well. Now turns to that 2 versus 3. They've got a fair bit of information on the back of this as well. That's going to be a couple of clean shots coming through from Golden, but they're not. So they'll be able to play with their life for a little bit longer. Pinging like absolute crazy right now. God Legion will be able to stick this plan as well. I don't know whether they're going to be able to deny this. They're going to try to hold from that flank on the backside. Vast will manage to take down Golden. There's no response from Shade yet. And Onyxian successfully take that round with 3 players left alive. This has been a dominant start from the attacking side.
We have seen flashes of greatness from Fury, but nothing enough to stick around. Onyxian found too many strong entries on that round. God Legion certainly holding up his end of the bargain here for Onyxian. It's a good start for
Attackers are
the team, which
activating.
I said that Onyxian should be favored in this match. I said that they should have the upper hand over Fury. Now, you were more in the Fury camp, and so was the community vote. We know Fury are a team who have been pulling out unexpected wins recently. In fact, in the 6 Invitational qualifiers, they went very, very far, took a win over TBD. Onyxian, unfortunately, had to forfeit that event due to not having players available.
You definitely don't like to hear that.
Attackers need to locate and
Out of
defuse
everything that can
bombs.
happen. Well, Onyxian, rather Fury, under the method of 1 and go regardless. They're not happy to stick around on any of these sites that they've pre-attempted. We now head to the basement. I'm saying this is a little bit more comfortable. For most of the teams that we know, generally we'll see them start there and rotate back through if need be. And Fury have opted for the other route.
Camera in position.
First, second, basement is how they've gone.
Camera feed is running.
Now, having a look at that operator lineup, we do get to see the Echo.
Yeah, the first time we're seeing this newly nerfed Echo out, but it's not going to make a difference because there's no Dopamine play. So it's only a really specific nerf for that specific interaction. And, oh, let's see.
Okay.
That's a nice angle you've got there.
So that's obviously swapped out for the Maestro.
Yeah, so...
RIP.
Yeah, poor Maestro. But look, speaking of this garage area where the Echo is playing, God Legion's going to peek this very early on. Does Rock have information? God Legion gets out of dodge. Lots of information in garage to prevent that push in. Really good time management here from Onyxian getting into the building nice and fast. No doubt they prepared all of their flank watch drones so that they counted how many people from Fury went up and down so they could very swiftly clear different areas of the map.
Thing that's obviously been quite clear, just touching on that, Dev, is the patience that they've shown. Very much paid off for them so far. Us now making some renovations of his own. Opting for early rotates if need be. Can be a bit of a tricky situation. You lose that thermite down there and things change pretty quickly. See Sushi just trying to get that early intel. And that he is getting well and truly.
Never undervalue how much that early round information can help your teammates as well. Get an idea of when to fall back, and that's exactly what we see from Fury. Full retreat from server. Warden just preparing himself for the inevitable C4 throw. Will have to enact to deny that plant, and thermite charge opens up that bomb site hatch on A. Good setup so far from Onyxian. This is pretty staple siege we're watching. It's all about that execute. And Fury have decided instead of contesting early, they want to keep their 5 alive for the execute.
For sure, sometimes we see the opt for another sense. Cynics, though, not wasting the thermite charge on this wall. Happily using the breaching torch to go ahead and blow a hole open. They still need to be careful that long line being held from Rock. Red now can start to waste a bit of time. Golden's fallen down in the meantime now. The bells are starting to ring a little bit more, sorry, for Onyxian. Diffuser will be stuck, but of course, just buying enough time here.
Great bait of that C4 from Red. Oh, and the Yekai is going to get countered from Geo from above. Excellent work from Onyxian so far. They're countering everything Fury has to throw at them. But still not forcing that plant down. And there you go. There's the long shot all the way in from Garage. Rock takes off the head of the planter, and Onyxian will have to follow that up with a substitute player, and it looks like they're going to rush into the bomb site as well. Oh, narrowly missing the head, but that is the diffuser faked as well. Onyxian will have to rely on kills here, but they're dropping like flies as Fury hold fast. It's all up to Just Vast, and he gets taken out. Excellent work from Fury to hold on just in the nick of time.
Very, very nicely done toward the end then. A lot more success being shown. Onyxian looked a little bit lost there toward those later parts. Needed to bait out that utility, and it just seemed like there wasn't enough time left on that clock to do so, James.
I think it was because there was just so many options that Fury had for that plant denial. Yep. The C4 got baited out. Great job, Onyxian. The Yokai drones got denied from the IQ. Great job, Onyxian. The angle from Echo in Garage, that managed to cop one of your players. And then after that, Smoke Babes. I mean, we didn't get a good look in, but I think it's safe to assume Smoke Babes were denying that force of the plant down because the smoke was still up, and we'd used the C4s, we tried to use the Yokai drones, the smoke was still there, and that just denies any kind of push in. Not just a passive plant push, but also an aggressive file in through the server door. You can't do that when you're running through smoke. You're just going to take too much damage and lose your eyesight. So excellent job from Fury. I really liked the order that they chose to use for that utility, and Onyxian will have to tighten up their attack when they re-attempt it later on in this game. But of course, Fury now locked out of that bottom floor bomb set, now retry top floor.
Hopefully with a lot more success. This was the round where everything fell apart. Don't really think anything went Fury's way technically. Onyxian were all over that bomb site with 3 players left alive and just completely locked out the retake. Whether we'll see something that's even remotely similar. I mean, Warden could have come through with a huge play on that round in particular. Had the Legion mines set up around Banana, also coming in on the flank. Things could have completely changed had he been able to hit those initial shots and been able to focus his attention elsewhere. Oh no, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and we know how important drones are to Onyxian. They're a team that plays very heavily based off information. Drone this, clear this, find this cheeky kill because you have that information. Not losing that drone can make a big deal. What are we seeing God Legion trying to do here? This utility. Trying to destroy something in Garage. Entirely sure. For Fury, we saw in the first 2 rounds, they tried to play really aggressive. That's what Fury are good at. They're really, really good at. But Onyxian countered it perfectly by watching for those flanks and countering the aggressive play style. They won the first 2 rounds. Third round, Fury decided, okay, we're going to play full passive. But they were playing on a bomb site where you can play full passive, and it worked. Now on this top floor, when Fury tried to play it passive in the past, it hasn't worked out. And Onyxian just moved into the bomb site and found the opening kills. So for Fury, what's the move?
Surely it's a matter of keeping them at bay and just trying to waste that clock. You could definitely do it here with Onyxian. I mean, their droning has been phenomenal so far, but if you can find a way to just keep them at bay, as you were saying, James, in the pre-game, you know, bring that drone denial, try and stop that intel from being gathered by Onyxian. Right now, that's the perfect opportunity. Let's speak of the devil.
Yep. Like you said, information denial is the name of the game, and God Legion loses his drone to that Mozzie Pest. He's cautious of this player downstairs, though. I wonder if he has information based on a drone, or if he just heard the player walking around downstairs. If Sushi finds his kill into God Legion, oh no, he gets droned out. God Legion's likely to chase for this kill. Know how good he is on these gunfights. If Sushi can find this kill, that's a very significant blow to Onyxian's entry.
He's bought so much time already. Look at this. We're now coming into the minute mark, and they're still worried about Sushi. They have to deal with him. Those red stairs are going to be vital at this point with 2 players in lobby. There won't be any pressure around Banana. And you can see he's just 45 seconds. He's still buying this time. Onyxian, they can't really go for this either. 1 by 1, they'd have to file through to take this kill. Vast now starting to take a little bit more control up on Banana.
And we're not seeing a lot of activity on the bomb site. Onyxian have stalled out, and Sushi not going for that peek was the right decision. Now we can see Fury attempt to get aggressive again, and it nets them a trade, but Onyxian again, they can play that as well. Sushi does go for a rotate upstairs, so at least he's near to help his teammates, but Fury are in the unfavored position for numbers, and Onyxian have to make the move. One player down. Oh no, a team kill! It's all up to Cynics and Geo, but what? They find the rest of the kills? I certainly not expected that to happen.
Yeah, Geo just absolutely popped off. Just went mental. 2 kills just so quickly. Bah. You blink and you miss it. I don't know why I went blah blah. I feel like
Blah blah.
skitty blah.
Skitty blah. Skitty blah 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 blah.
Well, I'm glad we did that.
Yeah, me
it's
too.
a real bonding experience for
too.
us. Onyxian,
We can learn the dance later.
surely. How are we going to dance to that? That just sounded like chaos.
Yeah. So, Onyxian. Yeah, I was a bit worried there for a minute. Like I'm not gonna lie. They identified Sushi downstairs, which was good, and then God Legion was cautious for that flank, which was good. But you could tell, Onyxian they had the same mentality as what you were describing. They wanted to deal with him and then move on.
Yeah.
And defuse bombs.
And Sushi knew that. So instead of trying to peek and make a play, because the roamer is unfavored in that situation. If the attackers want to kill him, they're going to send a drone in at the same time as 1 or 2 players, and the defender's going to lose. So in that position as a defender, you're thinking, maybe I should peek, go for something unexpected and aggressive, because I'm going to die if I just stay here and wait for them to take the fight to me. But the problem with that mentality is if the attackers don't want to waste utility, they don't want to waste their drones, they don't want to put in 2 players and have risk that one of them is going to die and they're only going to get a refrag, then Onyxian's just going to wait for that flank.
Yeah.
And Sushi, by not playing aggressive, he didn't play into Onyxian's hands. It actually worked out well for Fury. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough because Onyxian managed to just steal away an entry onto the bomb site.
Yeah, it was kind of a huge oversight on their point, actually. I can't remember who it was. One of
The
players,
Valkyrie shade got aggressive. Is that what you're talking about?
It was a very quick trade, and someone ran straight into the janitor, just untested with the line directly through toward the long desk. So
Fury decided to get really aggressive there is what you're talking about. They put 2 players, got really aggressive on that banana take. They managed to trade out 1 player, and then there was a trade from the attacker who'd come in through janitors, and no one from Fury was watching that.
No.
Part of their team decided, let's play hyper passive and force Onyxian to make the first move, and part of them said, I need to make a play, I'm going to move here, and that gave Onyxian the opportunity.
bit of a broken decision. Can be quite tough. I mean, you could only imagine how mad the comms would be. Shady with a nice little pre-draw. Oh, the drone spotted him.
No
Here
way!
comes.
No!
That was way too
Tragedy.
ambitious. Way too ambitious.
But it's a classic Shade moment there. As in, not as in like fluffing that up. I mean, as in trying to go for an aggressive play. I'm not being harsh here.
Jeez, man.
Shade is such a good playmaker. And we could see even last round, he was the first person to get aggressive from Fury. Didn't work out. And he tried to do the same thing again, or similar mentality again. But this is the Tellers and Archives defense, and Fury do have a lot of presence on the top floor. Rock says hello, and takes out that camera. Or rather, God Legion says hello and takes out Rock's camera. And once again, it's a lobby-centric attack from Onyxian. They do this repeatedly. Stacking up so many players. Sushi holding in front desk. Players from Fury very close to each other so that they can refrag. But it might not be close enough. Nixon play this very slow game. And then they get God Legion to jump right in there. Pop some heads. He's so very good at it.
One thing you like to see from Fury is changing up. You see, bringing that mute has denied Onyxian a fair bit of information on that top floor. And for the most part, they decide to go in here, they're going to have to go in blind. It looks like Sushi just trying to back himself into the corner right now. Needs to be careful of the initial engagement. I think the fan might have just saved the life of God Legion for a small minute there, Dev.
They actually are going to force out these roamers, but Sushi's holding such a good angle and he'll net 1 kill out of it.
Oh.
Surely there's a refrag here from the gridlock. It eventually comes through and Fury just have 3 players left. And to collapse onto the top floor now. It's Fury losing sight of the bomb objective. Geo and Cynic's last 2 players standing for Onyxian.
This line being held right through from stock. Geo now starting to make their way in. There's the extra bit of information that they're looking for. Now they know at least where 2 of those players are. They can actually push into the site and hold this. They can stick the plant, but they're going to have to watch each other's back at the very least. Cynics goes down, that makes it near impossible. It's all onto Geo. 1v3, never going to happen. Nicely done from Fury that time. They deny all other intel on that top floor and just burn through the clock of Onyxian. as they manage to capitalise.
Yeah, great stuff at the end there from Onyxian. It did look a little bit worrisome. I believe that they lost they won a 3 versus 4, managed to claw it back, and I think part of that can be attributed to Sushi's cheeky little angle there, getting that entry kill, or that first kill onto God Legion. Did help make the difference there for Fury. I incorrectly said that it was a Tellus defense. It was obviously a top floor defense there.
James.
I know, I'm the worst.
Tut, tut, tut.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's very difficult to pin exactly, what worked there for Fury, and I think maybe part of it we could attribute to the extra bit of information that Fury had. Even at the end there, we could see that the Okai drones were spotting and concussing the players who were making entries, and it meant that Fury always had a slight upper hand when Onyxian were making those entries, and that little bit of information coupled with the information denial of the mute was just enough to give Fury an advantage in those exchanges.
It just looked like they were on the same page that time. Like you were saying in the round previously, they were kind of locked in two minds. Some were hyper aggressive, some were hyper passive. This time, it seemed like a nice blend. They knew when they were going to go for those refrags. They understood that they were going to sacrifice that player trying to fight the lobby stairs and also banana. So I guess you're going to cut your losses at a certain point and just accept fate, if you will.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Rock's just playing some ultimate frisbee here. Security
Attackers must locate and defuse a
with
bomb.
his Yokai drones, but he gets them away safely. We saw how good Geo was in the previous attack for Onyxian onto this CCTV bomb site at denying those Yokai drones. The story of this last time was that Onyxian were great at baiting out the C4s, and they were great at denying the Yokai drones. What they weren't good at was dealing with the smoke babes from Fury, which delayed a lot of time, and also Rock on the long angle from Garage found 1 kill onto the planter with the MP5. If Onyxian can identify what they need to do to deal with those two factors, they could certainly crack this bomb site.
Oh. 2 seconds gone in the round.
Oh, no.
It's like that. Oh, come on.
Oh, no.
Cynics. It's been a while.
Maverick's hard, okay? Like, I play a lot of Maverick. He is hard. Yeah, he's like an artist, drawing destruction onto these hatches. And it's tough, all right? Art, you can't put a price on it.
That you can't.
What?
Wow.
Okay, Red. I don't know where that was, but okay. He just made his way into server and found a peek all the way through. Was that?
He was sitting in server, I believe, just behind where Red is. If you look down.
Yeah, it's cleared out the play. So that's an aggressive play for the Thermite. Lucky for him, it works out. Perhaps he had a call from a fellow teammate's drone that Warden was exposed, but all power to him.
Like Warden had to have been going for a denial player and just slowing it down a little bit more there, but that is going to come back possibly to haunt them. Look at this, a minute 30. This is much better from Onyxian. Last time it was 40 seconds by the time they had that wall open. See Cynics now just making a couple of murder holes, making it a little bit harder for Fury to deny that plant. And oh wow, the second they look up, that's going to be the free kill for Cynics. Nicely played as well.
And that's the smoke player. The factor that Onyxian couldn't deal with last time, they have dealt with. They have also shot the C4,
Jeez.
and they're likely to get this plant down. No worries, another C4 goes out. It'll kill the planter, but it's too late. Great shot there from Sushi with the UMP, but is it going to be enough to enable this retake? Fury, 3-on-3 to take back the bomb site.
And they're going to go quite hard and fast, actually. Fury, they've already collapsed across, but they've got to worry about not only the hatch, but also server. There's 2 players up there that can at least trade out, and they've got to make their choices now. As they push towards server stairs, they might be able to put a bit more pressure. That's huge. The hatch isn't open, so they should be able to hold the line, but Fast, he manages to find the kill early on. Rock, he now has to try and hold it as they go for the defuse. Rock needs to find the second, but it's not going to happen. And Onyxian, that is a very nicely played basement attack.
Really great work from Onyxian, and to the outer viewer, it might look like that round was almost exactly the same as the previous Onyxian attack. So what went right this time that went wrong last time? Well, they made pretty good time, but what really mattered was this kill right here. Through the destruction, he sees the corner of Shade's head on the smoke, and that singular kill on top of Onyxian's already very proficient denial of the Yokai drones and the C4s enabled that plant to go down. And once the plant goes down, as long as you're not severely outnumbered, that bomb site is left, right, good night. It's over.
Couldn't agree more with you. Very nicely done from Cynics there. And, you know, it comes down even just to small changes. Instead of the Thermite holding onto that extra charge, or maybe it was denied, we don't actually know what happened in that first baseman attack. But instead of, you know, holding onto that, they use that to open that wall that they're going to try and go in for the plant, rather, while Cynics instead uses the murder hole, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a very small change. Literally, that's just between swapping operators in different positions. And I mean, that, like you're saying, that kill onto smoke just completely dismantled what Fury were trying to do. And I mean, when you shoot the C4 out of the sky, what more do you want at that point?
Oh, yeah. And so some of that is Onyxian being pre-prepared. Coming into this map, they are clearly very good. And it's the whole team. It's Red as the bomb planter and all the players covering him. They're really good at not dying to those C4s, or at least getting the bomb down before they die to those C4s. Onyxian came into this game, they were already good at that, but they weren't good at dealing with the time and area denial that came from that smoke. And the fact that they got that pick, the fact that Shade once again got just slightly over too aggressive, that made the difference there. Really essential for Onyxian. And now they'll flip onto their defensive side. 4-2 is pretty good. And they're in a good position heading into the second half to, at the very least, get the 6 points needed for a draw, but in all likelihood, win this map outright.
Now the Kaid in play for the defense side for the first time, I want to say.
Yeah, I don't think we saw it previously from Fury.
Yeah, so obviously Fury not capitalizing on the back of that Thatcher ban obviously burns a lot more time on the hatches. They almost got lucky with the fact that server hatch wasn't open. Might have been a little bit more of a challenge towards server stairs, but too little too late. It's all over Red Rover.
Speaking of server stairs, this is something we didn't see at all from Fury. They didn't do that hard server stairs hold, and now this is really nice from Onyxian. I love it. They've decided, let's actually take off all of our ADSs from server stairs and just hard stack 2 ADSs on the server rack itself. Godlegion has still got one in the pocket. Where is he going to chuck it? Is he going to chuck it for this wrist side take? He is. Just in case Fury try to go for a lobby take. In fact, this might be because Onyxian have some kind of information that Shade is already opening this lobby hatch. Really nice rotation mid-round from Onyxian to stack their utility where they think it's going to be most effective.
I'd really love if this is a read that Fury have had, rather than Onyxian have had on Fury prior. This would be super sick. Especially if they can feel already.
But you've almost got it, Shade.
Oh, dude.
Come on, dude. Hey.
There we go.
All right, so here, he's going to likely throw stun grenades, but they're going to get caught by ADSs. So even if Fury did have something like a Ying or grenades, it'd be very difficult to dislodge that player in Vault of Vast. So now this rear push isn't quite nullified, but it's going to be very difficult if Fury want to go for it, and Onyxian likely going to be ready for it.
Sure. Golden now being given the information. Warden, in the meantime, has been able to take down Godlegion. Not the biggest loss for Onyxian. They still have their main sets of defense up, still with the Nitro Cells. Well, actually one less now.
Ooh, Sushi saw the Yokai and he takes it out. That's perfect. And now Fury is just finding all these kills. They do rotate the Ying Candela in. It doesn't get caught by the ADS because they previously wasted it. Oh, but perfect from Vast. The blind C4 takes out the Ying, and no Fury players follow that because they would have been blinded by the Ying Candela's. Vast stands up and finds another, but Rock's got 2 for this round. It's a 1 versus 3 for Vast. He'll have to ace to hold on to this round.
Oh, he's going to have to go absolutely massive here. He's already down 1. Diffuser's stuck, so virtually it's a 1v1. If he can make it around the corner in time, he might be able to catch the backside. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my God, no! Surely not.
Oh my word. Hold your thought for half a second. In a 1v2, technically the player's down. He's got the opportunity to shut it out right now. He's going to find the angle as well. He's still pressing here. Vast, he just can't get the shot. Oh, oh my word. Too close for comfort for Fury. Oh, what a gigantic effort.
Oh, dang.
Heroic to say the very least.
Vast, my dude. Man, I can't believe he nearly got the 1v5. That was an essential C4 there. No player could immediately refrag. He tried to refrag, but it was a little bit too late. Because if a second player had dropped at the same time of the Ying, he would have gotten blinded by Ying's Candelas. So that gave Cade just enough time to get that second kill.
Oh my.
If he had found that kill right there, that would have been the rounds. That's the crazy thing.
Oh man, that's that just feels horrific. It hurts the soul, Vast. Again, though, what an effort. What an effort to bring it that close, but you have to see. I'm going to stop talking because I hate to see that.
So what I liked there from Fury, they came into this game knowing that they had a specific strategy for attacking that downstairs bomb site with the Ying. Using that Ying to, clearly the idea was to take Vault, but Ying's also really good at clearing out the red hallway as well. It was actually Rock, though, that found 2 kills in that game. We didn't see either of the kills that round from Rock, but they were 2 of the most essential kills, at least from just judging by the way it swayed the numbers advantage at those appropriate moments. Now Onyxian, funnily enough, will actually rotate off of that CCTV bomb site, so they're not confident that they can effectively counter this Ying strategy brought by Fury. So Onyxian will go Tellers, which is the one bomb site that Fury never defended successfully.
Good point.
So in theory, I guess you could say the toughest bomb site for the defenders this game.
Shade at the moment,
Oh,
very cautious, geez, and there is good reason to step with utter caution. And that's exactly for those reasons. Shade nearly gets an opportunity of a lifetime on the backside of a little bit more of an aggressive play from Onyxian. Pretty opening up open though, this is not the worst.
Oh yes, so Vast right around the corner, and Geo as well. The Yokai drone stuns out the player. Vast going to peek on the back of it. The Yokai drone gets taken down, and Vast doesn't want to take the gunfight. Finishes him with the C4. Now 1 Yokai drone for 1 Shade, who is the IQ. I'd take that trade if I'm an Onyxian.
Yep. I certainly would. So
A bomb has been located.
definitely puts a bit more pressure toward Fury now. The man down. They don't really have anything for it, and with that, Fred's just going to go ahead and peek directly onto stairs.
And another player as well in open area. 1 prone around the corner, droning for him. Red realizes that Rock is inside. And Fury are just poking and prodding around this map, trying to find entries, and they do find Red there. Now a beachhead established inside open area, which is very strong map controlling. You can control the main hallway, you can control bottom square, you can even have a look into the bomb site. But they're going to abandon that. They may have a drone left in there, information for now, but they'll rotate top floor.
Things considered, not the worst right now for the attacking side.
Oh,
Oh
no!
no, God, you hate to see it, you hate to say it, but the timing of that is
Attackers have
absolutely
recovered
horrific.
You just got timinged, mate.
I mean, Fury's job has just become near impossible. 2 versus 4, the only control you had established was over toward open, and now you haven't technically cleared all of upstairs rather. This is not going too well, Dev. Actually, there's a lot more time than what I thought.
There's a lot of time, but it's still 2v4, and like the utility that Fury have isn't best. They don't have a lot of soft breach to open up the floor and try and find picks, and even if they did, Onyxian is just going to flood out of the bomb site and play for retake, which is default on this bomb site anyway. And now Gold Legion's going to find another one. Surely Geo finds this. Nope. Oh well, it's a consolation prize at the moment. Golden's still got the default cam watching him. Vast doesn't land that shot, but he doesn't even need to peek at this stage. There's information on him. Golden, how are you finding these kills? I don't know what's happening. Surely he can't find the 1v3 here. Gets shot up from behind, and Vast does end his reign. There you go, Onyxian, a successful defense at Tellus.
Nicely done. That was a lot of, I was going to say a lot of fighting. That just doesn't really sound exciting, does it? It was a bit of a bloodbath toward open to begin with.
Fury just decided, look, we're going to enter open. A Shade right at the start here, drone in there, and there were so many defenders in there. And as soon as he droned it and jumped inside, all the defenders left and just waited for Shade to be in exposed position, and they found that kill. Now, if Shade had had backup right at the time, maybe they would have been able to directly refrag him. Instead, they pushed in later 2 players, a live drone for them as well. It was just really messy from Fury. It wasn't, and I hate to say that because it can sound very critical. It's not always critical, but it wasn't. This is the one thing that we're going to do. It was a couple of different things, and I just didn't think that it was very concise. But hey, you know, we'll see if they can pick it up.
I do like seeing an open defense.
Yeah.
I think I'll be completely honest. In the past 4 months, I want to say, oh, mate, we'll go 6 months. I've seen it played probably 3 times.
Yeah, I mean,
when I've been cast, I should say.
I feel like I've probably seen it like 3 times in the last 6 months, just full stop. I very rarely see this bomb site.
And honestly, I've only seen it successfully taken once.
Yeah.
And
Bomb located
that was
attackers.
by
10 seconds left.
virtually opening up every single wall. It was the kitchen strat on Coastline, right?
Yeah, right.
You just completely open up everything, and so anytime you attempt to get inside, you've just got the long lines being held. However, it doesn't look like they're going to go for exactly that, but they still have a lot of intel through those renovations.
Dangerous position for that Yokai. It can be shot from the window if it gets spotted out, but Fury don't have the IQ, so unlikely they'll locate the Yokai easily. And, well, Fury are going to go for map control first up, take control of this top floor. Now, this is the least commonly picked bomb site for the defense, and I'm sure a lot of people aren't really familiar with seeing it. Typically, the strategy revolves around holding onto kitchen with some kind of presence in open area, often rotations into admin, admin, and also archives and tellers, which is what we've got. So typically, as an attacking side, there is a lot of map control you have to take on this attack. And so it really comes down to having good entries, droning out those areas and taking that ground, which so far Fury's done pretty well, but they haven't actually been met with any contest as of yet.
Oh, that's a foot. Oh, the Warden, you've seen something. Unfortunately, not going to be able to find anything there. Just tries to spray behind the desk. Red, he gets the hint. He gets the warning. He'll back away. So far, Onyxian are just free to kind of rotate in and out of archives as they please. Sure, Fury will try to put a stop to at least some of that.
Yeah, Shade's trying to cut off that with that little hole in the floor. And here's a great rotation denial from Rock, playing in this lone office, looking through that long angle all the way into the objective. And Warden's got a long angle as well, but Shade taken out. Man, Shade's not having a good game.
Not at all. Slower start than what we're probably used to. Red
Attackers
now,
located a bomb.
and God Legion, in fact. They're down in the basement, so Fury are going to have to be careful of this as well. Rock now starting to make his way back in from lobby. Able to put a little bit more pressure in toward towers.
We have these roamers as well, Red, all the way downstairs. An opportunity to push up the main stairs, potentially flank this elevator hallway as well, but he's just going to wait for callouts from his teammates.
Might actually catch off Rock in this instance. Don't think Rock would really be expecting that.
And Rock's not the spearhead of this push. He's currently playing flank watch, and he's likely going to go for a flank late, but Warden's very tempted to make an entry here. Golden's been taken down right on the bomb site. Warden's just going to go full send, drops downstairs. Red on the flank gets taken out by Rock, and Warden finds a good entry with 1 kill. Excellent refrag, though, from Onyxian. Now it's up to just Rock to hold. Sushi gets that diffuser down, though. How's his It's the double and the fade away. It's a 2v1, and God Legion can't hold that.
Wow. Sushi. What a play. Rock as well from deep, from way downtown. Jeez, that was a rush and a half. That Ying, man.
Yeah,
it's changing.
Exactly. The Ying is so hard to deal with, and this double kill from Thermite was so essential. Not only did he get the plant down here, but finding those 2 kills. You can see as soon as that diffuser went down, Onyxian thought, okay, we know one's just come off plant. We need to try and push him. We have a vague idea of where he is. And both of them peeked that door at the same time. And man, that were the 2 easiest kills of Sushi's life. Just holding down that bullet train all the way through. Holding on to Fury's hopes for this game as well. It's showing up to be a tight match, actually. 5-4. Still on the cards for either team. If Fury win just 2 more rounds, they'll secure at minimum a draw, which is, I'd say, an achievement against Onyxian here. Remember that a victory from Fury over Onyxian last season denied Onyxian making it to LAN.
And if you do cast your mind back to the standings, I mean, this could propel like either team forward. I believe it's Fury that have played 6 right now. They get a collective of about 7 points, give or take.
Yeah.
Whereas Onyxian, I mean, Onyxian is sitting pretty comfortable. However, the main asterisk around this right now is Onyxian still have the better teams to play. They still have Fnatic and Wildcard, whereas Fury have already versed Wildcard and Fnatic and taken away 4 points from that encounter. So right now, if Fury can come out with the W here, regardless of whether they've already played the extra 2 matches, it is good signs, I'm going to say.
Any damage Fury can do here will be beneficial for them meeting their goal of top 4 at the end of the season. And I think Onyxian just want to try and hold on, not drop any games to any teams other than Fnatic and Wildcard, because I think it's inevitable that they'll drop some maps there. And if they can just hold, and if Onyxian beat every team other than Fnatic and Wildcard, then it's really unlikely Wildcard can make LAN over Onyxian, because Wildcard have already dropped games to other teams. So Onyxian in a great position if they can just hold out here, and it starts here with Fury.
It's a bit of early process made from Fury, but this is, you know, we're looking at chalk and cheese as to how they decide to hold this basement right now. Geo is going to be sitting with that smoke in blue stairs, service stairs, however you like to call it. He'll be able to sit there and buy enough time. That shotgun just absolutely demolishes anyone in their wake.
Yeah, and opening that hatch is going to deny his rotate out of there. So it's a big decision now for Geo. Does he hold fast and just delay as much time as possible, or try and get out of dodge before the hatch opens? Now he has no choice but to stand here. Now those 3 gases will enable him to hold as long as possible.
Also got God Legion sitting in server as well, so they decide to hold for a moment longer. They'll just buy so much of that time.
Yeah, and God Legion's going to get out of dodge. So the idea here for Onyxian is Geo may well die here. But in fact, Onyxian may not know this, but there's no Fury players nearby. 2 rotate back over after getting the lobby side hatch. But Geo has 2 smoke baits, so he can delay so much time here on the stairs. Information denied on that rear side. You know, Onyxian are so suspicious of this lobby side hatch push from Fury. They tried it with the Ying before. They may well try it again. And Shade's going to drop down. Is Geo ready for this? Shade's just going to bypass him completely and go into the bomb site. What is this?
Oh, no!
Out of ammunition. He forgot to reload. And that could be so detrimental to Shade here. Caught in a very awkward position. Eyes both ways. Warden finds 1 kill, but it's trades back and forth. Shade deep in Vault now. What is happening?
Yeah, it's an absolute bloodbath. Cynics has managed to even out the odds, actually bring it back to the 1-man advantage. Oh no, Fury. It looked like there were so many things going right. They were deep in the site. They were putting the pressure on, but Onyxian, they just managed to capitalize on what a small whiff that was made there. Had Shade had actually been able to capitalize on that one player in prone position, that whole round might have flipped on its head.
You could even say if Shade had reloaded before making that play, he would have, Fury potentially could have won that round. And well, there goes Fury's hopes and dreams of winning this game outright. Still a draw is on the cards, but Onyxian, they have their heart set on locking in 3 points after this game. A win 7-4, I don't think would give us a fair insight into how close this game has been, because Fury's been showing some things that Onyxian haven't been good at dealing with. That Ying push, once again, it was successful. Fury got all of the ground that they wanted in that round. It's just that unfortunately they didn't find those essential picks that were needed. Onyxian had the numbers advantage through the end of it. But Onyxian are going to have to move on to an unfavored bomb site here. Actually, scratch that. This is the first bomb site they won of Tellers. So it's actually a really good opportunity for Onyxian to close it out.
A lot lying on the shoulders for Fury here. I can't actually remember. I think this was Fury's, not, I mean, you don't technically get a pick in a best of 1, but it was between this and Cafe. I believe, if I remember correctly, casting my mind back, Fury were the ones that banned out Cafe.
Yeah.
So this is their,
Yeah, you're right.
using it is their quote-unquote choice.
Yeah, because they could have chosen this or Cafe. They wanted this. You're exactly right. So, yeah, they wanted to go here. I have no doubts that Onyxian were also keen to go here, but
Yes.
may differ moving into the second map. If the veto goes the other way and we see Onyxian get the last ban, then it's their quote-unquote pick.
Yeah.
Last time Fury attacked this, they did that really weird kind of messy push in through open area, and they also lost 1 player pushing down from the square stairs. They can tighten up their ship a little bit and execute a little bit more of a coherent push together earlier in the round, not relying on some cheeky entries, then This could certainly be another round for them. One thing I will say that Fury has been really good at is denying this information from Onyxian, getting rid of those Valk cams. Has been a somewhat mixed bag because there is so much utility to get. Mozzie, Val, Gecko. They've been doing a decent enough job.
Shade not wasting too much time. Starting to take control of CEO. Ooh, that's some early intel. ADS system taken off. Might be able to find a little bit more as well.
Is that a Yoko?
Angle? Hello?
Oh, it's Electric Claw. It's an Electric Claw.
Was it?
Yeah, it's a Kate Electric Claw. And it's... Yeah, he did it. He got rid of it. So if Fury want to Thermite open that front lobby wall, they could. Not sure exactly what the direction is yet. Oh, here's great information gathering for Vast. Rock has been really impactful on his entries and his flank watch, mind you.
Yep.
Thus far. Vast aware of that position. Rock's going to get outside again. Look to push from elsewhere, but it's God Legion who finds the first engagement. Takes a bit of damage for it as well. It looks like Onyxian are playing fairly safe. Not wanting to take early gunfights.
I mean, at this point, a minute off the clock. Let's see what one hatch open on the side of Onyxian, rather on the side of Fury. But we saw a lot of success with this, and so far that Warden playing on Ying, releasing all sorts of blinding light in the face of Onyxian has turned out quite favorable. That's going to be Geo taking down Shade as well. Already hard task has been made a little bit more tricky. What a shot from Geo.
Doing so well, the MPX here on Valkyrie, and Fury falling to pieces, just Golden. And Sushi left, never mind Sushi, just Golden left, and 1 versus 5. Nothing to lose, just go for it. Do the best that you can, Golden. It's only for the map. Looking for these peaks. He knows these have to be individual gunfights. He doesn't have the best weapon for this situation. Can't even secure that first kill, and Onyxian get out of this tough map and lock it away 7-4.
A little bit anticlimactic, I'm not going to lie, from how close this entire matchup was to the...
Yeah, that was one of the more dominant rounds, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was, I mean, what, all 5 alive for Onyxian in the end there? Undoubtedly Vast spearheading a lot of that for Onyxian.
Oh, and Vast was so good, and this is the captain, your IGL. He's not the player you expect to be at the top of the scoreboard, but hats off to him. He played on fire tonight.
Certainly did. Onyxian, they will be taking that 7-4. Now, I hate to say that that's not the scoreline that we were hoping